Hello, my name is Amy Sturkey. I am a pediatric physical therapist, and I'm going to talk about pee and poop accidents. Yes, physical therapists can handle this problem. Let's just talk about some basic facts. Worldwide, 15% of children wet the bed. And in the United States, do you think we do better or worse? 20%, not 15%, but 20% of children wet the bed. By 9 years of age, that number goes down to 3% of children wet the bed. At 9, though, that's a big percentage of children. And then it doesn't get a lot better. By 16 years of age, 2% of 16-year-olds wet the bed. So 2/3 of the kids who are wetting their bed when they're 9 wet their bed when they're 16. So it really doesn't get a lot better as they get older. So it's not something you can go, they're just going to grow out of it, because the statistics say they don't. So it's more common in girls than in boys. 5 to 7 million children in the United States have pee accidents. Yikes! So first, what happens is kids wet the bed at night. And then progressively what happens if it's not dealt with and it continues to get worse, then they start having pee accidents during the day. And if that's not dealt with, then they start having poop accidents during the day. So you really want to get a hold of it when it first starts with just bedwetting. You need to take care of it. What causes constipation? 90% of the time, constipation is the bedwetting is caused by constipation. So 90% of the time, bedwetting is caused by constipation. And I know you're looking at me and saying, "Oh no, that can't be my child because they poop every day." You can poop every day and still be constipated. So just think about it. Humans are the only species that hold their poop. Yep, we hold their poop. Because it's really inconvenient sometimes to poop. I mean, you know, when you're in school, there are times when the class goes to the bathroom and then you can poop. You can ask to go, but it can be embarrassing to go. Or sometimes people make fun of people who go to the bathroom outside of the time, so teachers discourage it. We hold our poop. Sometimes you're in the car and you're not at the gas station. You want to wait till you get home. I mean, sometimes you hold your poop. And if you hold your poop, that can build up over time. And the research says that we start potty training kids too early, before they're really ready. If you train a 2-year-old to potty train and they don't really have the skills yet, they learn to hold their poop. And then that's a problem that they stick with later. So they're more likely to be constipated. And if they're more likely to be constipated, they're more likely to wet the bed. Yikes! There's a family history of constipation and bedwetting. So if a parent bedwet, then it's more likely that the child will bedwet too. You have to think about it as an illness. It's a problem. It's a medical condition. Constipation is more likely to happen with diet changes. It happens just in regular life. You have intermittent periods where you're constipated. The problem is if you stay constipated all the time. Constipation can happen when you have medicines that you go on or off of, or antibiotics that you go on or off of. So the question is if your child is bedwetting, how do you know if they're constipated or not? The doctors say that most of the time they're constipated, and it's really rare medical conditions that's not causing the bedwetting. It's usually, some doctors say that they don't even do the x-rays. They assume you're constipated causing your bedwetting or your daytime pee accidents unless it's proven otherwise. But how do you know if you're constipated? Well, you really can't tell by the frequency of your poop. You'd think if somebody was constipated that they wouldn't poop that often. But if you get really bad constipated, then poop oozes around your big solid piece of poop in your rectum, and then you poop more regularly. Like it smears around when you're not expecting it, and you have no control over that. So you can be pooping a lot, but still be constipated, and that still be the cause of your bedwetting or daytime pee and poop accidents. You can't feel your stomach. Doctors sometimes think that that's what you can do. You can feel your stomach and go, no, everything's soft there. You're not constipated. That's not necessarily how you know. You can't just assume that pooping daily, that it takes care of it. You really need to look at the quality of, you have to look at the poop. That sounds gross. The poop should be easy to pass. It should be soft. It should be what is called a Bristol 4. Let's look at a handout by a urologist. This handout by Steve Hodges says, how is your poop? And they say what good poop looks like and bad poop looks like. So the best poop is smooth, mushy snakes. Yep, smooth, mushy snakes. You gotta love this drawing. Or mushy blobs, or soft serve ice cream. That's right. But what's wrong is if you have the rabbit pellets, or the big old logs, or the thick, bumpy sausage. And I can guarantee you, your child is constipated if you walk in and you see that poop and it is filling up the toilet. If it's causing the toilet to block, that is too big a poop. That's a problem. What's constipation? Constipation is when you're not voiding all the poop in your rectum at one time. That it's hard, it's dry, and it's blocking the poop from going out. That's what constipation is. What you should do is poop every day. And really, where your poop is, it varies. You don't always do smooth, mushy snakes. That's the best. I mean, we're rating poop. That's the best poop. But throughout your life, you go through these, but you don't want to be these rabbit pellets or these big old logs most of the time. That's a problem. So the best and most accurate way to know if you're constipated, and that's the reason for your bedwetting or your daytime wetting or your daytime poop accidents, is to get an x-ray. So you have to ask your doctor for an x-ray. So what you want is for, when they do an x-ray, is that your rectum is not more than 3 centimeters. So that when they do this x-ray, they have to have some sort of scale there so that they can measure how big is the rectum. A normal rectum is 2 to 2.5 centimeters. If your child's rectum is bigger than that, your child is constipated. And the constipation has to be taken care of for you to be able to manage their nighttime bedwetting or their daytime wetting or their daytime accidental pooping. Constipation is what has to be dealt with. In future videos, we'll talk about how to deal with that constipation that's causing all those problems. I hope this is helpful for you, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. If you liked this video and would like to be notified by email when the next video comes out, click the subscribe button here and click the golden bell icon and ensure notifications are enabled on your account.